Hello, cheers! Welcome back to my channel, or just welcome to my channel. I've just started posting up videos, and this is a new series called Sunday Inspire Sesh, where we're going to be talking all about overcoming fears, belief in yourself, confidence, wellness, purpose, energetics, all those fun things. And I'll get into a little bit about my why I wanted to start this, but today's episode is all about belief in yourself, belief in others, and belief in the universe and how it has your back. You know that saying, the universe has your back. We'll be talking a little bit about that. So I'm going to get into some theory, but also techniques and ways to build your belief within yourself. And we're also going to, for all my spiritual girlies, we will have a guided message from Spirit to just talk about areas of your life that you can believe in yourself. So, and any other messages that you need to hear today. So, before we get started, I just wanted to share a little bit about why I'm starting this series, as it is the first one. Well, 5 years ago, I was at a time in my life working a corporate job, and I really forgot about my goals and dreams, and it had a dramatic effect on my mental health, my physical health, my emotional health, and I had no idea why I was so sad and so anxious, and it ended up coming down to pushing my dreams aside. And it's crazy, like the most passionate people can be needing that reminder to go after their goals and dreams or finding new ways to do so. And I was at a time in my life working a corporate job. I was just like working multiple jobs as well, and I needed that extra support. And I luckily started my business, and so I had mentorship, and I had trainings that really helped me with my mindset and really helped believe in myself, because they were going after their goals and dreams, and they believed in me and being able to achieve my goals and dreams. And so I want to be able to offer a space for us to come together, really breathe life into each other, and talk about those hard topics, talk about, shadow work, getting into some of those stories and beliefs that we can tell ourselves on the darkest of days, and rewriting that story, and really creating the narrative that actually serves you versus going against yourself. Because I actually said this in a speech, and voice inside your head is going to be with you from the beginning, in the middle, and at the very end. And so we may as well make it a nice one, a nice voice inside our head. And I had to do a lot of reprogramming my thoughts and emotions, and our thoughts and our emotions, as if you follow Dr. Joe Dispenza's work, our thoughts create our emotions, and our emotions create our actions, and then our actions really make up our life. And so being able to dive in and dissect that is so important. And I'll get into that a bit later in the video. So without further ado, let's talk about belief in ourselves. How important is it? Belief in ourselves really makes up our safety and our security. It allows us to stay small, or it allows us to play big. And our current belief system is either offering expansion, or it may be offering a comfort zone. And that saying that's like, life begins after your comfort zone. I absolutely love sayings, so you'll hear me say them a lot. But an example, of the same story but played out in two different perspectives is building a business. In my industry, in network marketing, we also, two people can have the same business model, the same offers, everything's the same. However, one person can say nobody wants what I have to offer, and the other person could be having a thriving, booming business. And what that comes down to is a lot of perspective, and visibility and conversion, of course, gets into that on the business side, but that's all up to you and you being able to change those. And our mindset helps us so much. And I do just want to mention that I'll mention business and marketing a lot because that's my background and that's where, my heart lies a lot of the time. However, I hope that these sessions moving forward really act as a way to inspire others in their life and bringing that belief and that confidence in other areas of your life, because I really truly believe that if one area of our life is thriving, that it can bleed into other areas of our life. And for me, when I focused on my business and when I focused on my mindset, it helped my relationships, it helped my job, it helped my wellness, and all of these other areas. And also the same can happen when if we're struggling financially, then it can bleed into how we communicate with our friends and how we the opportunities that we allow ourselves to have. So it can happen in the positive way or the negative way, as you know and have witnessed throughout your life, right? The other thing that I wanted to talk about is that our belief in ourselves really, it's more than a confidence. Our belief in ourselves is like a deeper level. When we have belief in ourselves, yes, we can show up more confidently, but it's really like what's going on behind closed doors, and the belief that you have in yourself can create how like you deal with conflicts, or you deal with that negative voice that may come up, and you being your biggest cheerleader is so important. The other area that I wanted to talk about today was belief in others, and this has come up quite a bit in my life recently as I've focused on mindset and done a lot of different techniques to build my mindset. I find that the connection with others, because a lot of us have sisterhood wounds, a lot of us have family issues that have impacted us and how we connect with people. We all went through the pandemic, and being able to build new connections can sometimes seem harder, especially for those that were in isolation and living on Zoom. Chatting with people in person is a whole other ballgame, and it takes practice again. And just building trust with others, like believing in humanity again, is so important, especially if you're building a business or wanting deeper connections and deeper relationships. So an example is, like, I don't know if you guys are watching Love is Blind, but there's so many times in my life as well where I created the belief, and just to reel it back, belief is a thought that's on repeat, that you've created a story. And so if we can create our thoughts, and we're in charge of our thoughts, and beliefs are just thoughts on repeat, then we can change our thoughts and we can change our beliefs, which is amazing. It is a positive, and it's also very scary because that means that we're in the driver's seat. But back to others, I think a great example is within relationships. So many times in relationships, we can hit the same patterns over and over again, whether that be believing that someone's going to leave us, and so then it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, or not speaking from experience, just asking for a friend. But there's also like trust issues if you've had friends that the bridges have been burned, and it wasn't as easy or handled as maturely as you might have now. It can really make it hard to make other girlfriends in the future. And so building that belief and that trust within others, just one friendship at a time, and being patient is so important. I know there's this whole stereotype that it's really hard to make friends in Vancouver, and so that is a belief that has been like created, and some people are not wrong, but it is a belief, so you can recreate it and change it. I know that there's lots of people who are building really deep connections and community, and so they wouldn't resonate with that story, they wouldn't resonate with that belief. And so it just depends on which story are you going to choose. And that leads me to something that I really want to talk about, is that our belief stems from perspective and evidence. And so if we are creating a story, our mind is looking for evidence to prove ourselves right. Like, everybody usually wants to say, I told you so. And even if you are a very humble person, and you bite your tongue and don't say that, of course we want to be proven right. And so even our minds will create that evidence to prove ourselves right. So which story are you proving to yourself right? Is it the one working for you, or the one that's working against you? And I think, 5 years ago, when I was in a really low place, I was drinking a lot and had some addiction issues, and I had really stepped away from my belief in something bigger than me, or bigger than just whatever your religion may be. I went to Catholic school, and I went to church on Sundays, but when I was 7 years old, I had a connection to spirit, and that connection to spirit really had an impact on me that I didn't know, because when I found it more than a decade later again, it really created that bigger picture. And if you're dealing with anxiety, just a sidebar, something that really helped me whenever I was feeling really anxious was zooming out and going 10 feet up. And so I would visualize me going 10,000 million feet up in the air and looking down and being like, oh, I'm really just trying my best here. And so having a connection to spirit in the universe, which is another side that I wanted to talk about. I got a new light, and it times out sometimes. The other thing that I wanted to talk about was spirit and the universe, and that connection, and having something that's rooted deeper in our belief. And so yes, you're doing your best. Yes, you're super confident. Yes, you have amazing relationships. I think this light is dying. So we've talked about belief in ourselves. We've talked about belief in others and our community, our friends, and our relationship. Now moving to that connection to spirit and the universe, something bigger than ourselves. That there's this saying I heard recently which really spoke to me, and I really felt it in my heart. And everybody looks up to the boss, but where does the boss go to? And whether you're the boss in your house, whether you're the boss in you're the boss of your relationships, you're the boss of how you show up every day, whether you're leading a team or you want to just show up bigger at work, who are you looking up to? And who leads you? Who has your back? And having that connection with, whether it be God or spirit or source or other religions, I think is so crucial if we are on that journey of purpose and on that journey of living out a meaningful life that feels like a living prayer and feels like we are living out our highest timeline. And so I want to move into some ways that we can dissect and really understand what our belief system is. Now, these techniques can be used when you're feeling great, and then also when you're feeling on your lower days, and using it as a time to reflect. Sometimes I think one of the most reflective times for me is on my cycle, and so that's when I can say, okay, I'm not masking here. I am really diving into what I feel when I'm at my lowest. What are my vulnerabilities? What is triggering me? And then, of course, there is those beautiful moments when things are bouncing off of you. You feel strong. You feel confident. You could answer some of these questions during that time, but it's interesting what happens when you make time for it in two different mindsets. So the first would be investigating the stories, as I was talking about earlier. And so what an exercise you can do, and you can write this question down, is what stories of myself am I telling? What stories are playing against me? What stories am I telling myself that are not in my favor? And writing just a list of those down. And then on the same, like, write like a T-chart. And you can write down, like, where did this story stem from? And a memory might come up. This is always a great place to, like, if you're in a meditative state, or just, you feel into that moment of that, where that story came from. And then in the next table, like, let those emotions be held, and then tell yourself what you would want to tell your younger self in that memory or in that moment. And you can begin to recreate that story, and you can start to begin to let go. There is a time and a place for it to be heard, felt, and seen. And I think that within journaling, that is a great time. And then there's a time to let it go and recreate it. So I can give an example, but I'll continue with this activity first. So you're building evidence in your favor now. So you've wrote down the stories you were telling yourself. You've recreated the story, and now you're finding evidence that is in your favor. So let's say I have a story. The story is, I am not beautiful enough to be successful. Okay, that's the story. Now I feel into that. I get taken back to a time when I was at the pool and someone said that, oh, she has a beer belly. I'm like 7 or 8 years old, wasn't drinking beer then, luckily. And I send love to that version of myself, and I forgive the person who said that. And I turn around, and then I'm starting to recreate the story, because the story that actually happened was I dove into the pool and tried to stay down there. Sorry, trigger warning. But then I'm recreating the story. So now I instead of jumping in the water, I turn to her and I say, did you really mean that? And she would say, no, you're beautiful inside and out. And I'd say, thank you. I think you are too. And so I'm recreating that story with her. And then maybe we both jump into the pool together and swim around, and we have a great day. And then we fill our bellies with food after. So that's recreating the story with love, and not trying to dismiss the hurt or the pain that's there. You'll feel it in your body. If you need it needs to stay there a bit longer. Maybe there's a lesson in there that needs to stay a bit longer. But if you're ready to let that memory go, recreating it's a great tool. And then building the evidence. So now you've recreated this story and that memory. And so let's find the evidence. Well, lots of people gave me compliments, and I don't think that they were lying. So that's really good. And I love her dark curly hair, so I love my dark curly hair. And I'm using a physical example right now, but this can also be done with inner things that inner characteristics that we may not like about ourselves, or other beliefs. But physical one is pretty easy to explain right now. So create that evidence. Write down a list of why you are beautiful. Like, I love this about myself. I love that about myself. I show up for my friends. I show up for my family. I shower people in love. I am beautiful from the inside out. Now you've created a whole list of evidence. You've recreated the story. So the next time that because it's not going to go away overnight, right? The next time that you don't feel pretty, or you don't feel confident, and you're telling yourself that you can't be successful or you're not beautiful enough, you'll have that list of evidence to go back to, and you'll have that subconscious memory recreated. And so using that evidence in your favor is so, so important. So to break it down, you 1, dissect and investigate, 2, rewrite, and then 3, affirm. I think affirmations are a great tool. However, sometimes within affirmations, I personally have had this happen where I was going through a really, really hard time, and to be able to find an equilibrium or just balance, I was writing lines and lines of affirmations. I believe in myself. I have a successful business. And it helped to become balanced to function that day. But at the end of it, I realized that I was overriding these emotions that needed to be felt and seen. So just like a little tidbit that I don't think is talked about enough is that affirmations are there to support you on your journey, but not to mask how you're actually feeling. Yeah. So at this time, I really want to pull some cards on belief and pull some cards on the things that you can believe in yourself and messages from spirit that they want you to know. So if you are connected with your spirit guides or ancestors, I would love if you want to take a moment to take a deep breath and invite them in at this time. If not, you can just stay around for the journey. I hope you guys are enjoying this first episode on belief, our Sunday Inspire sessions. So this is the Beyond Lemuria deck by Izzy Ivy. I absolutely love the cards here. And I'll tilt my camera down. There we go. Spirit guides, please provide us with a message for the collective on our belief within ourselves, belief within others, and belief in the greater plan that spirit and the universe has to offer. That one's sticking out. This one popping out. Beautiful. And then the back of the deck energy, communication, co-creation. All right, so I'll flip these around so you can see them. So, there we go. Beautiful. So we have healing that came out first, and then solar plex, radiant illumination, and on the back of the deck we had communication and co-creation. And the message here really is with that exercise I just shared, that helps us on our healing journey. Let's see here. New lighting and everything. On our healing journey, it's rewriting the codes. It's rewriting not just our minds, but the energy within our body and how we're showing up energetically within all of the energy centers. We're realigning. So when we are in our highest vibration and we are standing in our truth, the evidence is working in our favor, that is when we can heal. That is when we do the deepest healing. It's when we are our biggest cheerleader. We are, just feel really called to say, like, we are in our own favor, and begin the healing journey so that we can shine our light and we can. Solar plex chakra is all about doing, and in that a lot of us make our decisions from there. And so when we have belief in ourselves, when we have true trust in ourselves and our decision making, we can build our trust one decision at a time. We can build our trust within ourselves and others by following our intuition, one decision at a time. And so with our healing journey, with our intention setting and following that, our intention and our gut feeling, we can come from a place of inspired action, and that doing isn't out of necessity or busyness. It's out of radiating. It's out of shining so that your light shines on others. And then being able to create this feeling of community, this this feeling of togetherness and that we're all working towards the same mission. And that is the world here. It's really right here. That's a world in between all of these souls. And I really, truly believe that, you know, the codes within our healing support one another as we are in the greater consciousness and our planet. So that is the message, really. So that is the summary of today's episode on in the series on belief. I hope you enjoyed it. I cannot wait to do more. Let me know on topics you want to hear in the future, whether that be, you know, overcoming fears, creating and cultivating a positive mindset, confidence, wellness, business, all the things. Let me know. I'm so excited to have you here, and thank you so much for watching. I will be bringing in divinely guided messages for our Sunday Inspire sessions. And yeah, let me know if you enjoyed the journal prompts and if you test them out. I would love to hear from you. It's Rise with Ryan on Instagram, and I will talk to you later. Don't forget to subscribe. It really helps as we are a new channel. Bye.